Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry, I am filming by myself. Normally Sean helps me with this, and so I'm trying to like make sure I'm looking at the monitor to make sure like it's all framed correctly. But now I'm talking to you guys. Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to film and post something just kind of maybe lighthearted because I know the last few videos have been really heavy talking about Silas, and I'm so thankful that we got to share that with you guys. Honestly, thank you guys for all of your messages and love and support and prayer. It really means a lot to us. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, today's video is actually going to be a Q&A. I wanted to film a video to be able to put something up, and so I asked you guys to submit questions so that way I could make a video, I guess, so I could answer them for you guys. So I have no idea, honestly. I just saw that there were questions submitted. I have no idea actually what's in here, so we are just gonna go through it together. Let's start at the beginning. What is your favorite cleaning product / combo? I use Mrs. Meyer's, and then I love our like granite spray with a polish because it just makes our counters look so shiny. I have no idea what brand it is, but I love all Mrs. Meyer's cleaning supplies, and Clorox wipes and baby wipes are my lifesavers. Now that I've had children, I don't know how I lived without baby wipes before that. I love Comet. I use Comet for like, I love to deep clean, so like bathtubs, showers, sinks. Comet, go to. Next question. Favorite season for fashion? I think I would say maybe fall and winter. Probably more fall if it's cold. I mean, California fall is more like still summer. So as long as it's cold enough for me to really layer, I love layering. I love wearing jeans and boots and sweaters and hats. And in summer, especially in California, you're really limited to just wearing like shorts and a tank top, and you just don't have as much room to like be creative with your outfits, I guess. Do people still recognize you from Justin's video? LOL. Not really anymore. I mean, people at church know. Sometimes people kind of like ask me about it. People were always really shocked when they find out about it just because it was so long ago now that like really who would think and who would really remember. I mean, no one's really watching the one-time video anymore, but I guess like not really? I don't know. What are your must-have closet items? I love your style. Thank you so much. I feel like my style is really just like all over the place. Sometimes I really like Hailey Baldwin style, and then sometimes I really like girlier things and trendier things. So I feel like I'm all over the place, but I would say my must-have closet items are a good pair of jeans. I love jeans. Love jeans. I have like 3 favorite jeans right now that are like my go-tos. They're all very different styles though. Jeans and boots. I love boots, especially Thursday boots. But those are probably like my closet must-haves because you can do so much with them. I think and a good white top, like a good white crop top of some kind. That's solid. And those are kind of hard to come by because you got to make sure it's not see-through and all these things. Next question. Not sure if you've shared before, but what is your testimony? You know, I actually don't think I have shared my testimony really on YouTube. Would you guys want to hear that? I mean, I would love to share that with you guys. I don't know that I can really answer that question in this Q&A because that would take up probably the entire video. Although my testimony isn't like, there's not like a lot of stories, but still, it's still like longer. So I would love to share that with you guys. But just like an overall of my testimony, I personally feel like God has saved me from so much. I feel so blessed by that and doing things God's way. And don't get me wrong, I am a sinner, I have flaws, I have made ample amounts of mistakes. But I feel like God has really saved me from so much, and my obedience to Him has kind of like He's protected me, I want to say, because I've kind of decided to like make those harder choices. For the most part, I mean, like I said, I've still made plenty of mistakes. Birth healing story. Oh my goodness. Birth healing story. Okay, with Jackson, that was probably the most traumatic part of like having a baby. Like when I was thinking about having a second baby, it wasn't actually like the pregnancy or the labor or even the delivery that I was like really worried about. It was more the healing. With Jackson, I ripped pretty bad. And I can make more of a video on that if you guys want more, like, I don't know, details. But I ripped pretty bad, and I didn't rip down, I ripped up, which caused it to be like when I had to go pee, it burned. I would like cry. It burned so bad. Not great, but it honestly goes by so fast. It healed within 2 weeks, and I was totally fine, totally good. You're so distracted with your new baby and nursing and all these fun things, so yeah. With Theo, I don't know if it's because he was my second kid or what. I actually expected that I would have ripped way worse because I had to push a lot harder and not really push with my body. I really tried to push to get him out because his heart rate was dropping, and you can watch my birth story if you want more nitty-gritty details on that. But surprisingly, I didn't rip. I mean, I ripped a little bit, but it didn't hurt to go to the bathroom, and it healed really quick, and I was like totally fine. So, hope that answered your question. Was it a hard decision to send your sons to daycare? I send mine, but some don't trust them. So, yes, and that yes is even with the like caveat of where they go to daycare is actually our church. My husband is on staff at our church, and my boys go to daycare at church. It's very small. It's really just with his like cousins who are also there with him, and they only go 1 day a week. And I know the ladies running it. I know everyone on staff, so I trust them 100%. Was it still difficult to kind of like make the decision to send them? A little bit, just because Jackson's not gonna be constantly on me. And I say Jackson because Theo's still little. He's not as impressionable right now, whereas Jackson's at an age where he's super impressionable. And so realizing like he's going to have a consistency in his life that isn't me, that I won't know where he picked up certain habits, and it could be from daycare, and not necessarily even bad habits, just good habits. So that kind of like relinquishing control of like, oh, I want to keep you in this bubble, and I want to know everything about you, and I want to like protect you from everything, and I want to know exactly how you learn things. I had to like really like let go, and it's really been good. It's good for Sean and I. It's allowing me to help with like Sean's business and social media and photography, and so it really was a good decision. They're only going once a week right now. We might switch to 2, but I totally understand the like worried about trusting. I mean, you hear so many horror stories. And of course, I want to make sure the people who are pouring into my children are people who I trust and love. And thankfully, I have that, and I feel so blessed by it. Yeah. Biggest piece of advice for marriage. All right, guys, I love marriage. Marriage is probably my favorite thing. I love being a wife. I felt called to be a mom, but I take pride in being a wife. I take pride in being a mom too, but I love being a wife. And Sean makes it really easy. But I would say my biggest advice is marriage requires both people to be 100% selfless. And I feel like that's way like, oh, I'm selfless. No, I need to like, it is difficult. It is hard. Even with mine and Sean's marriage that I love, and I think it's so unique and wonderful, and it's amazing, and we hardly argue, and he dies to self all the time. I try to die to self. But even with that, marriage is still hard. It's a lot of work. You have to set up guards, like to protect your marriage, like boundaries. I don't mean guard against each other. I mean guards to protect your marriage. 100% selflessness, dying to self, figuring out what pride is, and then working on being humble was a huge thing, I think, for us and for me specifically in my marriage. Communication, that's a cliche answer, but I found that it's really, really, really helpful for me too. When Sean says something that hurts my feelings, I have to like really dig deep and think to myself, Sean is not malicious. Sean would never say anything to intentionally hurt me. Thankfully, we have that trust. I know that for a fact. Sean would never say something to intentionally put me down or hurt me or be malicious in any way. So I have to remind myself, if he's saying something that I don't like hearing or that's hurting my feelings or hurting me, what is he feeling? Why is he saying that? Because I know he's not saying it to hurt me, so he's feeling a certain way. What could I be doing that's causing him to feel this way? And then going from there. When I talk to him, when he hurts my feelings, I express all those things. I express like, hey, I don't condone the way I feel. I don't condone, like, I don't think I'm right. I really don't. I just need you to understand my thought process and my perspective. And that way we can maybe find a better solution on how to communicate with one another. And he does the same thing, so communication, that's what we do. If you want a video more in depth about our communication, just let me know. We've picked up a lot of tips and tricks along the years that we've been married, and we're coming up on 8 years in March, so Let me know if you want a video on just like how we communicate and how we talk to one another and what we find is helpful. Someone said, of course a baby question. This is from my friend. They're pregnant and I'm so excited. So of course a baby question. What are some good baby toys / products for learning and development? This probably would be a very good question when I only had Jackson. Now with Theo, I'm like, they're fine, they'll learn. Kind of joking, kind of not. But to be honest, I really like our Lovevery play set, our play gym. The Lovevery also has a subscription. This is in no way like sponsored at all. I just really liked all the subscription packages that I got that grow with your baby. So they have like 0 to 12 weeks, then like month 4 to 6, and month 7, 8, month 9, 10, all the way up to 1 year old. Super cool. Explain to you what they're learning, how they're gonna engage with these things. So there's an app, it's called the Wonder Week, and it actually explains to you kind of like what your baby's learning, what stage they're at, ways to help them learn, kind of explains if maybe they're going through like a cloudy, stormy week because their development is, they're learning so much that they're overstimulated and it can cause them to be more fussy and things like that, which is just natural. So I know when Theo or Jackson was like really just like on edge and I was like, oh my goodness, what is wrong with you? I would look at the app and it would just happen to be like a stormy week and I would know, okay, it's just because he's learning a lot. These are things I can do to help. So that's called the Wonder Weeks app. I'll put it in the description so you can check it out. Lovevery is one of my favorite places for toys and stuff like that. And it's also very cute and stylish. So that was helpful. Next question. Just lost my mom on my birthday last year and it's really affected my son. Tips on littles and grieving. First of all, I am so sorry to hear about your loss. I can't even imagine losing my mom and how that could affect, or losing a grandparent for your kid or for you, a parent, and how that affects them so much. For us with Jackson, if we always tried to, when he was crying, kind of encourage him to cry. We did want to be careful to not like project sadness onto him or project like our issues onto him. So if he was crying, we would just ask him questions and ask him things like, what does he miss most about him? And well, what do you think he's doing in heaven right now? And all these type of things. We would watch videos and look at pictures and just be silly and talk about funny moments with one another. We also try to encourage him to like let him know that it's okay to be sad, it's okay to cry. For Sean and I, it's hard for us to cry if we're just kind of going through that season of struggling with dealing with our emotions. So it's kind of hard to like tell your kid that it's okay to cry when he's like, well, you guys don't cry. And we do let him know like, hey, we do cry. You know, we usually cry at nighttime and when we're alone, and that it's okay to cry when you're alone. It's okay to cry with mommy or daddy. So those are things we kind of do to help as much as we can. I wish I had more for you guys. Honestly, grief is hard and there's no like exact rules on how to overcome it and get through it. And all I can say is I'll be praying for you guys, and I'm sure you're doing a great job. Next question, do you and Sean plan on moving out of state? Probably never. Sean and I both love California. We've been so spoiled. We've been brought up in Southern California. So every time we visit another state, we're like, oh, this is a beautiful state. We love it here. But also like, can't wait to get back home. So probably not. Can you react to your YouTube video titled Basically Kristen, webisode 2? Oh my gosh. Goodness, I forgot about Basically Kristen. That would be really funny. I should have Sean in that one too because he would probably be like, oh my goodness. So yes, thank you for the idea. We'll have to do that. I'm already cringing. How did Theo and Jackson both get their names? I'm curious. Jackson, I honestly, okay, well, I've always loved the name like Jack, like Captain Jack Sparrow or Jack or Jack Skellington, all these, I like the name Jack. And when my brother was pregnant, they hadn't picked a name until the very end, and I would always jokingly call him Jack, and I just realized I love the name Jackson. So we also, you know, now we have Theodore, and you can just kind of tell we kind of love just like timeless names. Sean really is not about fads. For Theodore, I honestly have no idea how we just like, we're like Theodore, because it wasn't ever a name we mentioned. Like it was never a name. We were like, yeah, let's do this. And when we were pregnant, even then, like, you know, I don't know how it came about, but you know, Theodore came up and I love the name. I love calling him Theo. It's just one of those timeless names. I wish there was more like reason behind these names, but They're just names that we really liked, and they both have really great Christian meanings behind them. I like them. Jack, and Theo. Someone asked, why not take the vaccine? I'm assuming you mean like the COVID vaccine. And this is a hot topic, guys. I in no way want to push my opinion or my agenda. This is something that Sean and I have prayed about. We've decided for ourselves that we were not going to be vaccinated. And honestly, if you choose to get vaccinated, like I have no problem with that. Like that is 100% up to you, and I respect you and your decision. Advice for first-time pregnant mom who doesn't really feel ready to be a mom. First of all, congratulations. Oh my goodness, that's very exciting. I know it's nerve-wracking. I remember I was like 20-something weeks pregnant. I was like, oh my goodness, God, what is happening? How could you trust me to be a mom? Like, I'm still trying to figure out my own stuff. And I just remember getting like major anxiety and be like, God, what have I done? What have you done? But then God just quickly was like, do you trust me? Yes. Do you know that like I'm gonna provide for you and take care of you and take care of your baby? And I was like, yes. And so anyways, enjoy the moments of being pregnant. Remember that like you've been given this life to take care of, and he or she has been specifically given to you, and you are the perfect mom for this child. Like, what God's given you is perfect for what God's given your baby. And you're gonna do a wonderful job. Take day by day. Honestly, there are many times where I'm like, how do we make it through that crazy season? And honestly, in the moments, you just kind of do it. Like, you don't even realize that it's like hard or miserable or whatever. You're just like, okay, I gotta do it. Like, I'm gonna take care of my child. And you love your children, and it's just a natural thing the way we were designed. So, congratulations. I know it's easy to say try not to be nervous, but I know for me personally what helped was doing a lot of research. Knowing what's going on in my body was very comforting. Doing research on how I could help, and talking to other moms. And yeah, if you have any questions about pregnancy specifically and like what to kind of expect, because there's a lot of things that people just like don't really talk about. How do I make my kids stop crying? So, it depends on obviously if it's a baby or a kid. I'm assuming it's more probably like a baby. So there's actually this thing called the 5 S's. And first what you do, right? First, this is what we did. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what Sean and I did. This is not for everybody, but what Sean and I do, and so we've read in books and heard from other parents, was first you wanna make sure they're fed, they're changed, and they're not tired. Like if they're sleepy, then they need to go to sleep. Especially in that like 4th trimester, those first 3 months after having your baby, these 5 S's are a game changer and so amazing. So the 5 S's to soothe a baby. I'll go ahead and link an article for you guys, but just a quick overview. These 5 S's, what they're doing is they are basically like mimicking the womb. That's where your baby was like comfortable, and you know, that's all they knew. So now they're out in this world, and it's weird and it's bright and it's crazy. So the first one is swaddle. You swaddle your baby really tight. A lot of moms will say, my baby doesn't like being swaddled. Honestly, your baby was like so tightly confined in your womb, and so the swaddling is actually a huge comfort to your baby. There's a lot of times you might think your baby doesn't like it, but in reality, it is a comfort. Sometimes it's just hard to kind of get their arms to stay in. Theo was very strong. It was very difficult for me to keep him swaddled, but for the most part, babies typically like to be held tight. The second one is on his side or stomach position, and then the third one is shush, which is you want to make kind of like a loud shh in your baby's ear, just because like with how loud the baby heard things in your womb, it was like very loud. Like you can look it up. And so recreating that like kind of white noise. That's why babies usually sleep with white noise. The fourth is swing. Your baby in your womb, right? Like you're walking and your baby's being rocked constantly. So that's why your baby usually typically likes being swung, especially being swaddled. If you do all 3 of those, like swing, shh, on the stomach, and your arm kind of like football position, and you're doing all of them, typically you can get your baby to sleep. And the 5th one is suck. And that one would be kind of like a pacifier or eating, if you're breastfeeding, things like that. So those are the 5 S's that have really helped Sean and I. Anytime we were like kind of just like our wits end, like I don't know what to do, we would kind of go down this list, and typically it would work. Of course, if not, there's something more serious going on, of course, always check with your doctor. There is, could be colic, or the food that you're eating that you're nursing could be like upsetting his stomach, watching your diet, watching your baby's diet, the formula might not be sitting well. So there's a lot of things to go down, but I would definitely start with those, like the checklist, you know? Another question was, do I like tomatoes? That's a good one to end on. We're gonna end on that one. Do I like tomatoes? I don't really like tomatoes actually. However, I will say this. I like the tomato, mozzarella, basil. I forget what that's called right now, but I really like that kind of salad. But I don't like tomatoes on my burgers or on my sandwiches. I find that it makes it too soggy and I don't really love that, so. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for submitting all those questions. I had a lot of fun answering them. If you guys have any more questions or want me to do another Q&A or want me to expound on any of those topics, specifically the tomato topic. I am actually now running late. I need to go. I'm gonna go get lunch with a friend and then I'm gonna edit and try and be as productive as I can today while the boys are in daycare. So thank you guys for watching, and if you want to continue to follow along when I post videos, subscribe, turn on the notifications because then you'll get notified because I'm not super consistent. That might come in handy if you want to watch the videos I create and put out. And then if you could like this video, that would be awesome. Submit other ideas. If you guys have any challenges for like Sean and I don't know why I've been really wanting to do like redo our yoga challenge or something. Let me know in the comments, and thank you guys. Have a wonderful week and bye.